Hi there, good afternoon. You've tuned into ET now, and this is Market Fatafat with me, Cheryl D'Souza. Along with me, I have Vinny Motiwala. A very good afternoon to you, Vinny. And it's Friday, and we are back to where we belong and where we started the Market Fatafat, isn't it?
Absolutely, back to where we belong. Friday, and seems like Friday coming in for the markets as well. Not a bad day. Nearing those 21,700 levels after we saw the fall coming in past few trading sessions. So since yesterday seems like some bit of a gain, at least is what we are holding on to. Right?
Absolutely, we are holding on to gains. That's the most important point in that particular conversation, given the fact that we are sharply off the day's highest point. When it comes to the benchmark indices, as you can see it on your screen as well, we are like 6/10, rather 1/10% uptick coming in for Nifty as we speak. It's Nifty Bank actually, Vinny, that has actually given up all of its morning gains, and Nifty Bank was actually trading in the negative territory last time I checked. So let's take a look at Nifty Bank. There you go, almost 3/10% downtick coming in for Nifty Bank. Broader markets are holding on to those positive trajectories. So yes, markets for now trying to be real resilient when it comes to the benchmark indices in today's trading session.
Okay, so a bit of a resilient market is what we could call it as of now, but there are a lot of individual movers in trade, and let's get started with those movers then in trade. And obviously to talk about that on the technicals, we're joined by Dhawani Patel, while from the research team we have Ansh as well as Ankita joining in with us. A very good afternoon to all three of you all as well, and good afternoon to you as well, Cheryl. And I'll start with the first stock as always that's in focus, and today let's pull up the charts for CG Power. That's the one in focus today after UBS has actually initiated coverage on the stock. They've given a buy rating and a target price of 580 rupees per share. They believe there's a good long-term story arriving up actually in terms of the scale that they can see coming in for the business as well. Other than that, obviously in this sector, they believe this is the best play and best candidate that could come out in this sector, given that the earnings that they're expecting to see in terms of the earnings CAGR growth. So earnings CAGR growth also they're expecting 21% earnings CAGR growth over FY23 to FY26. They believe the company is quite well positioned also in terms to own a lot of order wins as well. So yes, in terms of multi-year order wins, capacity, ramp up, that's where they could see some focus coming in, and that is why the stock is as of now also holding on to 1% gain. With the market seems like the stock has given up those highs as well.
Absolutely, that's CG Power for you. That is actually buzzing in trade today. But let's shift focus and let's talk about BEML. I know in a short while from now you will talk about Jupiter Wagons, but let me talk about BEML, and that particular counter, Vinny, has actually hit a record high levels in today's trading session. As you can see it on your screen, 5% uptick, still holding on to strong gains in today's trading session. And why is BEML actually buzzing in trade? Remember yesterday, just towards the market close, we got the news that they have actually signed, Jupiter Wagons and BEML has signed a deal with the Defence Ministry, and if you look at that, they've inked a contract with the company, that's the Defence Ministry, has inked the contract with BEML in particular for mechanical minefield marking equipment at a cost of around 329 crore rupees. So that's the share of BEML's order in this particular contract, and on back of that, the stock is actually seeing a sharp up move above 5%, one point in time up 6%. Yesterday also you saw gains of approximately 3% or so on back of that news.
Absolutely, just in the last few minutes it started just buzzing away. So yes, keeping an eye on BEML. Holding on to the gains is also surprising with the markets falling. But let's pull up the charts for HUL then. And Dhawani, that's the first stock that you've picked out for us. When you look at it from the FMCG pack, HUL has not done anything exciting in terms of returns over the last few years. Now, what is the view in terms of HUL? Where do you see it headed in terms of the target price? Last 6 months, actually, you look at it as a negative return.
Yes, absolutely. So what we see over here on the chartical structure is definitely that in the last 1 year, we have not seen much of a performance coming in. But if you pull up a chart for last 3 to 4 months, we've seen the stock taking up a bottom at 2450, and from there we are seeing a bullish structure on a short-term chart over here, which is of higher highs and higher lows. From the current level also, one can go long into it. We are definitely seeing some buying action coming in over here. The stop loss over here ideally comes at 2585 for a target of 2700.
Okay, keeping an eye out on HUL and the targets over there for 2700. But let's move on and talk about Soba then, Ankita. Yesterday this was buzzing away in trade because of Motilal Oswal's stock pick. Today, what's the reason? Because it's not holding on to any of those gains we saw yesterday.
That's correct, Winnie. Yesterday, Soba was firing on all cylinders. It hit fresh record highs. It was up 20%. But we did see the stock slipping away in trade at the start of the trade. It was down 4% as early, investors rushed into book profits. And this happened after this real estate company reported its highest ever quarterly sales in the October to December period. Now, Soba's sales climbed a good 56% on a year-on-year basis to 1,735 crores in the December quarter. Also, the average price realization has improved to 11,732 rupees a square feet, supported by the launch of Soba Neopolis project. Now, interestingly, if you look at the past 1 month, the stock has actually surged more than 33% as opposed to a 14% rise in the Nifty Realty Index. And today we see a bit of profit booking coming in because the stock has really run up. So the stock is down and out. It is currently down 1.5% in trade.
All right, Shobha, for you, they're seeing a downtick of as much as 1.5%. And yes, yesterday the stock did see very, very strong gains, and the fact that it was Motilal Oswal's top pick, and also they were expecting really strong sales coming in. In fact, talking about the realty space as a whole, we spoke to Pankaj Kumar today of Kotak Securities, who shared his outlook on the realty sector as well. And he said that the strong launch pipeline as well as the volume growth is likely to support the sector going ahead. What else he had to say? Listen in.
On the EV to EBITDA basis, on a forward pre-sales, the stocks are trading at say 7 to 10 times, which is on the higher side, looking at the past trend. So the stocks are of course trading at the higher side vis-a-vis what it used to trade earlier. But we are seeing a strong launch pipeline and the volume surprises are continuing. So we have to look at the results, how it is going to be, and what are the launch pipelines the companies are looking at. Most of the companies are now looking beyond their geographies. So, example like Prestige or say Lodha, they are looking beyond their core geographies because the consolidation theme which is happening in the industry, because there is a more preference towards the branded players. And ideally, we should look at the companies which is having a strong launch pipeline. They are delivering projects as well. And most of the leading names are in that category.
Okay, let's move on and talk about Schaeffler then. And Dhawani, on the charts, what's Schaeffler looking like today? Surely it's fired up in trade. But from here on, do you think this rally is going to continue, or the up move is going to stay for Schaeffler?
Yes, absolutely. So what you're seeing in Schaeffler today is that the stock, with the up move that it's given, has given a breakout above its previous swing highs, and we are expecting a move over here that would continue over here till 33.50. Close 33.50, we'll see more gains coming in over here at 35.40. This is a 3 to 4 months of a pick that can be added into the portfolio. The stop loss for this one ideally is coming up at 3095.
All right, moving on then, let's talk about Hero MotoCorp. Ansh, yes, this one was in focus yesterday as well, but today the reason is not the same. Yesterday's stock saw a sharp downtick, but today, in fact, it is holding on to strong gains. And what's the reason?
The stock is in focus on the back of a brokerage note. Actually, Morgan Stanley has come up with a brokerage note on the stock, and stock is up by around 1.5%. They have actually revised the price target from 2,521 to 2,874, an uptick of around 14-15%. Also, the long-term volume, according to them, estimated have been raised from -1% CAGR over FY23 to FY33 to a positive 3.5%. This adjustment is expected to drive 2% increase in revenue estimates as well. Furthermore, higher than expected other income has led to a significant 9% boost in FY24 EPS estimate. Also, if you see the chart, stock has snapped its 5-session losing streak, and it has also given a breakout from its downward sloping resistance trend line.
Keep an eye out on Hero MotoCorp, but let's move on, talk about a defense name, and that is HAL. This one is in focus after UBS has initiated coverage on this one. Buy rating, target price of 3,600 rupees per share. They believe that this is actually a very good defense name and could see a good compounder effect coming in from HAL in the defense sector. They believe the revenue is expected to rise at around 16% CAGR going forward, and they could also benefit from that $60 billion of aircraft defense orders from now till FY28, the estimate. So, that's a big market which they can capture, they can gain in terms of more order books as well. And other than that, obviously, the own design manufacturing, that is something that will be driving the double-digit EPS CAGR for the company, as well as the 20% ROE is what UBS is highlighting for HAL as well. So, yes, seems like the company is set to triple their order book as well, 2.4 trillion by FY26. So, big number coming in on that front. And no doubt, HAL is actually holding on to very strong gains today as well.
And actually, Vinny, is not only today that HAL has been holding on to strong gains. Dhawani, this one has been firing on all cylinders, actually zooming past all the estimates that most of them must have kept for HAL. What's your target coming in for that particular counter? Do you think that this will continue its consolidatory phase? Yes, as you can see, last 6 months, 20% downtick. But let's not forget what each of these defense counters have done over the last 1 year. Spectacular returns. And do you concur with UBS? More steam left in this one?
Yes, absolutely. The technical data suggests that there is more steam left in this particular counter. One can go long into it from the current levels. The derivative data also suggests there is an increase in the open interest coming in. The volumes also here, what we are seeing comparatively, are higher than the past 20 days of the volume. So we are definitely eyeing on this one from the buy side. The stop loss that one needs to maintain here is of 2940. Till the time we are not breaking below 2940, we are not seeing any structural reversal technically coming over here on this counter. 3250 is the next target coming up on this one.
All right, moving on, let's talk about Waaree Renewables, and that particular counter is in focus. Yes, last week we heard the news of the arm also going ahead and filing for the IPO, but today why the stock is in focus, and it actually hit the record high levels and gained as much as 10% in trade today, gaining for a 6th consecutive session actually, Vinny. And the reason for that is that the company has informed the exchanges that they will be considering a proposal for subdivision of their shares. So on back of that particular information that they've given the stock exchanges, they're yet to mull the proposal. But the fact that they are going to go ahead and mull the proposal, you can see the stock actually trading above his 200 DMA, and this one is for the first time since August 1st, 2022. So yes, everything working in the favor of this particular counter, hit a record high level as well on an intraday basis.
Surely keeping an eye out on that one, but Grasim Industries, that's the one focus as well, Ankita. And what's the news for you today?
Well, yes, Grasim Industries is in focus today because, the company said that it will issue shares on a rights basis at rupees 1,812 rupees per share and has set January the 10th as the record date. Now, they have also set the price for it to be 4,000 crore rupees is the rights issue at 1,812 rupees per share. Now, the rights issue will open up for subscription between 17th to the 29th of January, and the record date, of course, like I mentioned, is the 10th of January. Now, the company plans to issue up to 2.2 crore shares to promoters and the promoter group. So, on the back of this rights issue news, the stock is knocked down in trade, was down more than 0.5%, is down 0.4% currently.
All right, that is Grasim Industries for you, but let's move on and let's talk about the auto pack, Eicher Motors Dhawani, and where do you see this one headed on the charts? Because you saw Eicher Motors actually give a good set of returns last year. This is just this year, this is just the 6-day data, but look at it, 6 months, 22% uptick coming in for Eicher Motors. Where do you see it headed from here on? It is consolidating. Do you see further consolidation?
Yes, absolutely. Eicher Motors, what we are seeing here on a weekly chart is definitely that it has given some it has lost some 6% of gain over here from the start of the week. But on a daily chart, what it suggests is it's taking support at a 50-period exponential moving average. And in the past, it has also shown that this one has worked out as a very good support level. And today, from the same levels, we are seeing an uptick coming in over here. On an intraday chart, we are seeing volumes also picking up on this particular counter. One can go definitely long into it. The target is 4,010 over here for a stop loss at 3,850.
Okay, let's move on. And the next stock that we're going to talk about is Suzlon, Ansh, and what is the news flow around this? Why is the stock buzzing away in trade today?
So the stock is in focus on the back of an order win. The stock is trading 1.8% higher today. The company has secured a new order for the development of 225 megawatt of wind power project for its subsidiary Ever New Energy Private Limited. The project involves the installation of 75 wind turbine generators with an HLT tower, each having a rated capacity of 3 megawatts. The site for this project is expected to be completed at the location of Tamil Nadu. And if you see the charts, the stock seems to have given a good breakout from its reverse head and shoulder chart pattern. Also, the stock trades above the key 50, 100 and 200 DMA.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, and one more Motilal Oswal pick coming in. All these Motilal Oswal picks have surely seen a buzz, but today let's talk about global health. This one is among the top pick for Motilal Oswal in 2024, and they believe that there's a robust runway for growth that one could expect, a sustainable growth for the company. Other than that, they're expecting the target price at 1,170 rupees. That is an 18% upside from yesterday's closing price. Already seen a 2.5 to 3% uptick today in trade as well. They believe that the company is on the path to achieve their expected FY25 financial performance, what they've set, and also in line with FY24, which will be ending in the next quarter as well. Next few months is the last month for FY24. They believe the future growth is fueled by aggressive bed expansion for the company. And other than that, they are also focusing on the average revenue per bed is expected to witness a 6% CAGR growth and expect a 28% earnings growth over FY23 to FY26. So yes, a lot of interesting numbers that they've put in out there. But top pick for Motilal Oswal is global health.
All right, so let's move on then and let's talk about Utkarsh Small Finance Bank. Yes, a recently listed counter coming out with its Q3 operational performance. And on the back of that, you saw the stock actually see a good uptick, 2.6% uptick coming in for Utkarsh Small Finance Bank. This is the third consecutive day of gains coming in for this counter. The stock is also on track for its best week since October. If you look at the reason why this buzz is coming is because they reported a 30.8% year-on-year jump when it comes to their Q3 gross loan portfolio, and also their total deposits have seen an uptick of about 17.6%. So on the back of a good operational performance in the quarter gone by on a year-on-year basis, you can see Utkarsh Small Finance Bank actually seeing good uptick, and a lot of banks and NBFCs are actually coming out with good set of numbers when it comes to operational
But despite that, today what I was wondering is why is the Nifty Bank down? Because HDFC Bank also the update was quite good, but still we saw that Nifty Bank
actually... But when you see, if you look at the advances on a quarter-on-quarter basis, actually, Vinny, it was pretty muted, just 5% uptick when it comes to the advances for HDFC Bank. And let's not forget that the bank actually merged with HDFC Limited in July 1st. So maybe quarter-on-quarter may be dismal, but
that is something, we are keeping an eye out on. But let's move on, and on the charts talk about a PSU Bank, SBI, Dhawani. What are the charts indicating for this PSU Bank? Do you see more run-up left for SBI? What is the view now?
So the view coming in on the banking sector right now is bearish for the time being. What we are seeing is in today's session also we saw some profit booking. Even in the private sector and the PSU sector, we are seeing some profit booking coming over here. SBI in particular is in focus for the reason being since the start of this particular expiry, we have been seeing 650 acting out as a good resistance for this particular counter. And from those levels, we have constantly seen downticks coming in. SBI is on the sell side for me right now. One can go short on this particular counter for a target of 625 with a stop loss over here at 652.
Alright, moving on then, let's shift focus to the FMCG pack from the banking pack and Dabur India. Ankita, why is this one in focus?
Well, yes, Dabur India is in focus because a couple of companies are coming out with their business operational updates, and Dabur also came out with its update. And Dabur trends witnessed sequential improvement in the December quarter. Although the rural growth continues to lag behind the urban growth, the company expects to register mid to single high-digit growth during quarter 3 of FY24. In its revenues. Now, international business is expected to register double-digit growth in constant currency terms, led by good momentum in the MENA region. Also, Nuvama came out with a note on Dabur. They are maintaining a buy on the counter with a target price of 680 rupees per share. They feel that the numbers are above the initial expectations. What they were really expecting was that quarter 3 consolidated revenue and EBITDA is likely to grow, can grow at 8% and 10% respectively on a year-on-year basis versus the initial expectation of a 5% and a 3% respectively. Now, the growth they feel has been primarily driven by Badshah and the international businesses, and on the back of the business operational updates and Nuvama maintaining a buy on the counter, Dabur is in focus today, up 0.8% right now.
Okay, but also let's listen into what Sunil Duggal had to say overall on the FMCG pack, the rural recovery. He is the former CEO at Dabur, but he was talking about more in terms of the FMCG and consumption side, rural recovery. Listen in.
There has been very little stimulus given by the government as of now. There were a lot of promises, but not too much delivery. And I don't think there is anything on the horizon which promises in that direction. You will have the main elections coming in the month of May, but given the political situation, I think the whole emphasis on freebies and stimulation of rural demand may be a little bit muted this time, because one party does seem to be in a very dominant position. So that again will not really help matters in terms of rural recovery. So all along, there's a fair amount of stress. The margins look good. But keep in mind that we'll be lapping these very favorable margins in the first quarter of next year. So even the margin expansion may look challenging next year.
All right, then let's shift focus in to the auto space, especially Electra Green Tech. How is this one looking, Dhawani? Because we've seen this stock be abuzz mostly on news flow, the fact of the order win or likely order win coming in for Electra Green Tech. But are the charts indicating a further upside for this particular counter?
What you're seeing in Electra today is a 6 monthly breakout on the daily chart. We had a high formed over here on 13th of July. We are breaking that particular high in today's session with volumes. That is more interesting, because volume participation had been missing in this particular counter, but now volume participation is also seen in this counter from here on. One can positionally add this one for a 13 to 15% of a gain into the portfolio. The target comes at 1675 for this one, and the stop loss that one needs to ideally maintain over here is of 1385.
Okay, that's Electra Green Tech, but let's just take a quick look at the markets and what they are doing as of now as well. Yes, Nifty, nothing great, like Cheryl was mentioning before. Resilient market is what we are seeing. Nifty as of now also is just holding on to almost 1/10% in gains. A mid cap as well as a small cap, the broader markets, that's holding on to a bit of a better gain and holding on to 3/10 to 4/10% in gains, both the mid cap as well as the small cap. So that's what it's looking like. But overall, what's holding on to good gains today is IT. Surprisingly, the top sectorial gainer over there. So
a lot of brokerage views, a lot of re-rating.
And day after day we have seen brokerage views coming in for IT. So finally that run up, because yesterday when the brokerage notes came in, we didn't see much of a run up from IT. But today finally giving that run up is IT, and Nifty IT is the top sectorial gainer, up 1.3% as well. While in terms of the laggards, we do have the Pharma, Nifty Bank, which is not doing quite well. Bank was the one which gave up most of the gains. So yes, that's how the market setup is looking like. But on that note, we're going to slip into a short break. But as we're going to break, ET Now and ET Now Swadesh, in line with helping Indians rise with India, have partnered with Sundaram Mutual to launch Nivesh Day, a groundbreaking campaign to help viewers build their personal finance portfolios through regular and disciplined investing. Nivesh Day is being celebrated on the 5th of every month. Join ET Now Swadesh and Sundaram Mutual to learn how to build your financial future with an SIP in mutual funds.